Welcome to the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast.
Hello everyone, this is Jarvis S. Scott with What's Happening in Birmingham. Today I have the honor and pleasure of being with Mr. Alexander Shunnarah. Now, Alabama, and I would say Birmingham, you know this man's name and face because it's literally in every billboard here in the city, pretty much. Alex, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you, and thank you, Jarvis, for coming, and I'm really looking forward to doing this today and talking about anything and everything. It's going to be a great time.
Okay, so I want to bring you on today, just talk about your career in law and just kind of talk about how you evolved your marketing over the next, over the last couple of years and just the future plans. So let's just start off with, why did you choose a career in law?
I always wanted to be a lawyer, and my dad encouraged me to be a lawyer. But the thing that really got me is the law is in every single thing that you can see, touch, or feel, and that's what just really fascinated me. You got three types of law. You got God's law, man's law, and universal laws like gravity.
All right, so when you first started your law firm, what was your goal you had in mind?
It was such a long time ago, but I just think I wanted to represent people and give them an opportunity against corporate America, against insurance companies, to get what was fair to them and what they deserved rightfully if they were injured by no fault of their own.
All right, so let's talk about your marketing strategy, where everybody knows you're most famous for, specifically billboards and television advertising. What was your goal when you first started doing that and doing it now?
Jarvis, when I first started, I didn't have any money. So I thought I would just, I knew everybody. I was born in Birmingham. I was raised in Birmingham. I went to school, college, law school. But I quickly figured out that I didn't know as many people as I thought I did. So I first did traditional billboards, television, radio, but in the last 10 years or so, it's really been just a lot of digital advertising with the different social platforms.
All right, one thing I've noticed, and I read an article about you last couple of years ago, you spoke about ping effect when it comes to billboards. Can you kind of tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, I studied the outdoor advertising space, and there's a factor called the ping effect. And what the ping effect is every time you pass a billboard or an outdoor advertising structure, it pings your brain. And if you pass it 100 times, it's ping, ping, ping. And eventually, consciously or subconsciously, it'll attach itself to your mind.
Okay. So
which has helped our brand over the years.
Okay. So what advice would you give a small business owners that's thinking about, that's a little hesitant sometimes about spending those marketing dollars?
You have to do something. I've always said that, first of all, you have to start with who you are, because you yourself is a brand. So I'm a brand, you're a brand. Every single human is a brand. So start with yourself, like how you dress, how you speak, how you look. Everybody's watching. But then eventually, you would probably, at this time and age, from a cost standpoint, probably a little digital, a little social platform, and then you can kind of venture into the other areas.
Okay. While we're doing the interview today, we're doing it in the continuing midst of COVID-19. How did that, in your opinion, affected the personal injury industry, and how did it affect your law firm?
Man, it was really difficult last year. First of all, the stats just came out. There was about 40% less accidents and insurance claims. And just to be honest, if the accidents didn't happen, there's no way that we could represent anyone. And thank God they didn't, but from a standpoint of keeping all the employees on the staff and keeping the lawyers busy, it was very challenging. But I'm happy to say that we did not lose one employee or one lawyer over the course of the time.
Okay, so with, in your opinion, what's the biggest mistake a person make when they in a car accident or a motorcycle or truck?
The biggest mistake
afterwards.
Well, there's a lot of mistakes, but the biggest thing is probably not getting, because the type of lawyers we are, you can get a free consultation. You don't have to choose our law firm. You don't have to choose any law firm. But what does it hurt to call them and ask them about your legal rights and make sure that you understand what you're entitled to? I think that's the mistake they make. Taking the money when the insurance company calls, they offer them $1,000, they need the money and they take it.
So what's the biggest difference? You know, I see a lot of commercials, a lot of attorney commercials where they say 6-figure settlements, 7-figure settlements. What's the difference between a $10,000 settlement and a $1 million settlement when it's awarded?
A lot.
What?
I mean, so I just want to like really clear this up. I mean, those, when you see those, I mean, the bars in all the states, I mean, those are actual settlements. And obviously, lawyers are going to show their good cases, not their small settlements. But those people are really injured. They're catastrophically injured. There's usually permanent injury. There's usually a commercial vehicle involved or a big company. But I can say this, in all the years that I have represented 50,000 people.
Oh, wow.
That in our catastrophic settlements, regardless of how much money they got, if you said, hey, would you take this money for what happened to you? The answer is no. There's no amount of money that will compensate someone fairly for what happened to them in those types of cases.
So in your opinion, what do you think is the biggest misconception about personal injury lawyers and just even specifically your law firm?
I think the biggest misconception is sometimes that, you know, personal injury lawyers only care about themselves or they're only in it to make money. And look, I think in any field, there's a few bad apples, but for most of the lawyers that I know all across the country, I mean, we really care about our clients. We really want to give them an opportunity to be compensated fairly.
Okay, I want to go back when you first started your law firm. What were some of the biggest mistakes you made and you look back like, man, I wish I would have did it different?
Probably from a marketing standpoint, let's just use that.
Okay.
I'll give you a few of them. From a marketing standpoint, I think I didn't appreciate the digital space because everybody in my space always did the traditional. And when I say traditional, it's billboards, radio, and television. But you know, Google AdWords, which we all are familiar with now, they started in October of 2000, and it was only 25 cents to put an ad up.
Oh, wow.
And now the average is about $25 for a click, right? And depending on what terms you're using. But in the personal injury space, it's one of the higher amounts. So if I had to do it all over again, I would have mastered the digital space probably from the first day that I started. But, you know, I've only really been in the digital space for about 6 or 7 years. So that was a big mistake. And I have to be careful how I say this, and even though I value every one of my lawyers, just understanding that no matter how many cases, like hiring the best lawyers who are committed to their craft, to their skill set, because not every lawyer cares as much as other lawyers, you know, and obviously that's something that we really pay attention to, and I feel like we've built one of the best teams, I think, in the U.S., but just really, really paying attention and only hiring the best of the best. The problem was I didn't have the money. And it's hard to hire a great lawyer when you can't pay a great lawyer. And it's hard to hire a great lawyer when you don't have the cases to give the great lawyer. So really, the only way you can build a firm is one step at a time. And that's what we've done here. We've done a great job of it. But it was probably it took me about 10 years where I could afford some of these best trial lawyers that, you know, are now working with me. And I really consider them all my partners. All my lawyers are my partners. We're all in it together.
Okay, and I want to go back for a moment and talk about, you know, some of the biggest mistakes people make when they're in a car accident. What if someone chooses, can you talk about what happens if somebody chooses to go with the insurance company? Say the insurance company calls, say, Mr. Smith, we got $50,000 that we're going to pay to you. Don't worry about calling Alexander Shunnarah or any other personal injury lawyer. Can you kind of tell the viewers?
Yeah, sure. So look, first of all, they're never going to offer you $50,000.
Okay.
It's going to be more like $2,500 or $1,500 or $2,000. But I kind of said it earlier. It just depends on your accident. But like in my law firm, and I'll invite anybody on this podcast, just call me, just talk to me. I'll tell you 100% if I think you need a lawyer, don't need a lawyer, what I think what your case is worth, what I think the steps that you should take. But why would you accept a settlement for say it's even $5,000? Because you accept the settlement, you think you're okay. A couple of weeks later, you don't feel well.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the doctor, your neck's hurting you, and now you have a herniated disc in your neck. So, if the one thing I can encourage anyone is don't be eager to resolve your claim. At least I tell every one of my clients, get an MRI of your neck or your back. Just it wasn't your fault. Make sure that your spinal cord and your discs are lined up like they were before the accident. And that's where it kind of gets tricky, because if your arm is broke, some injuries are kind of obvious, but in the spine, when you're dealing with your back or your neck, you just don't know. And the law is you take the plaintiff as you find them. And that means, you could be 10 years old or you could be 100 years old, but you take them as you find them. So in terms of just get checked out, make sure you get a clean bill of health. Then if you want to make a decision to resolve your claim with the insurance company, that's fine. But statistically speaking, and I didn't make up this stat, if you get the right firm, but listen, all firms are not the same, okay?
Okay.
They're just not the same.
Okay.
But if you get a real law firm, and I shouldn't say real law firm, but if you get a law firm that really understands what they're doing, this is all that they do. They love helping folks. They've got the best technology, the best resources. They understand how the other side works. You could typically get 3 times more than you could yourself. So even if you paid the lawyer 33%, you're still going to come out way better.
Okay. Next question I want to ask, kind of if some of my viewers are aspiring lawyers that want to start their own law firm, what advice would you give them?
Do it. I'm just being honest. I think even though I try to attract great lawyers, and I understand not everyone wants to own their own law firm. I understand there are people who don't want to deal, because it is difficult, because when you own your own law firm, you're responsible for everyone and everything and all the overhead. And there are certain lawyers who want to just come in at 8 o'clock, go home at 5 or 6, and don't want that other responsibility and only want to practice law. But to truly be fulfilled and to truly do a great job, I think every lawyer should own their own law firm and run it and manage it the way they want to do it.
Okay. So we see your name a lot on billboards. We see it on TV, but I see your name a lot in the community. What are some of your community service projects or charities you've donated to in the past and currently?
Well, we have an incredible team. Shout out to KC Projects and to Krista Conlon. She is my public relations team, and we do so many things. I'm just going to name a few. So when COVID hit, that's an example. We fed the hospital staffs. We've been involved in the Teacher of the Month, where we're always recognizing a teacher. We try to look out for law enforcement and trying to help them. If it's and this. We have to pick and choose wisely. But Boys and Girls Club. But we probably on a monthly basis pick a particular charitable donation, and we give back. And I truly believe that. I believe it's all God's money anyway.
No, I like that.
You're not taking it with you. Now, we all love our government, but they take half of it. But, we need to, I personally believe in giving back. This past Thanksgiving, there's a great organization in Atlanta, and we have an Atlanta office, and we went and fed 5,000 homeless people on Thanksgiving. But I took my wife, my beautiful wife, and my 3 children, and it's called Hosea Helps, and I wanted them to see how blessed we were. And we gave $10,000, and we gave so many other things like toiletries and stuff. But just to see it broke my heart on Thanksgiving Day, where 5,000 people in Atlanta were just lined up just to get a meal. And that to me is more rewarding than anything.
Okay. Well, one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on the podcast, other than having discussion with you. Also want to talk about your future plans for expansion.
Well, I tell you, when I started out, I never even knew I'd get outside of Birmingham.
Okay.
But then we eventually opened up in Montgomery, and then Huntsville, and then Mobile, and then Dothan, and Tuscaloosa. But we've been, then we eventually moved into Florida and Georgia and Tennessee. But recently, we're now in New Orleans. We're up in Boston, Massachusetts, which is a beautiful area. We're in Texas. And so as opportunities continue to present themselves, we will be very aggressive in continuing to open. What I've learned in the law business is the law is the law. In the personal injury space or the civil tort space, it's really the same. Each state might have a little different laws or, here and there, but it's typically the same. And so if you can take the principles that we've learned here in Alabama and take those same trial lawyers and apply those to other cities, I think we can give tremendous legal service to people pretty much anywhere in the country. We've really become a national law firm. And so we will continue to do take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves. And in some instances, we'll buy law firms, and other instances, we'll just start it from the ground up. But it just depends on the situation, when and where. But I will say we are very, very aggressive about expanding consistently. I don't know where the end game is. Only God knows. But if you would have asked me 20 years ago when I was sitting in my little Birmingham office, would I have an office in Boston or Texas? I'd say, what? So we may be in all 50 states one day.
Okay. Do you
maybe international? Maybe London.
Yeah.
Paris, who knows?
So when you choose these locations, is it based on just like I guess not trying to get too much into your strategic research?
No. And like I said, it just depends on the situation. So in New Orleans, I wanted to get in. We did this firm just kind of their main focus and practice area was property and casualty.
Okay.
Which is a little different. But look, if you know anything about the weather, and you're watching this, it's crazy, right? So we help people who've had some damage to their homes or to their commercial buildings and having a difficult time. But between hailstorms, fires, hurricanes, tornadoes, obviously in California, earthquakes, wildfires, there is billions and billions of dollars of property damage every year. And just like in the personal injury space, homeowners and business owners are having a difficult time getting what's fair. So that just attracted me. I'm always trying, I wanted to be involved in that area of the law too. So I purchased that firm in New Orleans, and now it's been one of the best things we've done. But back to your original question, Boston was just an area. It was a personal injury area. I knew a bunch of really good lawyers there. We started to get to know each other, and I said, hey, I want to come to Boston. I want to open up a law firm there. And, will you come under the Shunnarah shield? Will you come under the brand? Will you come work for me? And once I had a commitment from 5 of the best lawyers in Boston, we opened up the Boston firm.
Okay. For the wrap up, guys, just two questions left. Whenever I get people like yourself on the podcast, I like to call you very successful business owners. What books are you reading, podcasts, or any favorite you want to suggest to the viewers to check out?
Yeah, I wish I had my book, so I'm trying to read a book all the time. But some of the books I read recently is like Extreme Ownership. I read that one. I read one by David Goggins. But I'll tell you, I read nonfiction books, first of all. I don't read fiction books. I like things that deal with leadership, management. I'm attracted to guys like Elon Musk, Jeffrey Bezos, Steve Jobs, Warren Buffett. I like people who have an insatiable appetite to succeed or to be game changers or I read all of Nick Saban's book. We're here in Alabama. He talks about the process. In the podcast, same types of things, a lot of motivational stuff, a lot of leadership stuff, a lot of outside the box, because I think you have to get up every morning and have the same zest and energy. And I like a lot of stuff that deals with the mindset. It's all about the mind. The mind controls the body. So, those are the type of things that I'm attracted to reading.
Okay, my final two questions. When your legal career is all said and done, what would you like to be remembered for? And the last one is especially easy because I think you've already answered that over and over, is why should people choose the Alexander Shunnarah Law Firm?
Well, when it's all said and done, I don't know if I'll ever retire.
Okay.
So I kind of equate, that's why I try to stay healthy. I do work out a lot. It's kind of like golfers. I kind of joke, I don't play golf, but they play till they're 100.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I want to stay in the law space. Kind of like Nick Saban said, I will coach until I cannot give 100%, because he has a standard of what it takes to be a certain coach. And I have a standard of what it takes mentally and physically to stay in the law space and to be the very best that I can be. And if there ever comes a day that I can't be that, then it's time to step aside, because then I'm not giving the type of legal services that I want to a person and the type that they deserve. In terms of what did you say? What I was remembered for, or why should they choose us?
Well, yeah, why should they choose you?
Because we're the best law firm in the United States of America. In my humble opinion, that's why. Because I am not an absentee owner. I am here, I am present, I'm involved. I know every one of my lawyers, I know every one of my employees. I mean, I am running this business day to day. They asked me what my hours were. Said eyes open, eyes closed. That's the truth.
Okay.
And I think if a client hires us, we're going to go to war for their family, and I will not stop, I will not sleep until we get them every penny they deserve.
And that being said, what's that phone number and that website?
Shunnarah.com. And I don't care where you are, 800-229-7989.
All right, well, Alex, thank you for coming on today. Always want to interview with you. Thank you for the opportunity. Look forward to you coming back again. We can discuss more about legal career and things.
Well, thank you for coming by. I really enjoyed our time, and you are welcome to come see me any day, anytime.
All right. Well, Alex, thank you again. Thank you all for watching this podcast today. Please check out what'shappenedbirmingham.com for more interviews, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you all again. And can I get one? Call me Alabama.
Call me Alabama.
Thank you for watching the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast. Please check out our website, app, or subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest videos today.